So everyone, it's been a while, back for more top user-created head and time maps, in this case for June and July, and you'll probably be thinking, well, if Raz has been waiting this long to make this video, then certainly he must have an amazing top 10, no, it's just a top 5, and the 5 maps I'm going to show you are pretty much the only ones that I would say are particularly good for June and July. So, maybe next top 5 is going to be in 2 months as well, and it's still going to be a top 5. Whatever, let's get into this. So first I'm going to have 2 honorable mentions. First off is First Blue by Jam, and secondly we have Mafia's Icebox by Sweaty. The reason I have these 2 as honorable mentions is because they're both simple rifts that at least tried to do something cool. And I always want to honor people who want to at least try and have potential, so that they can then go, okay, now I have gathered a lot of experience and knowledge on how to make maps. Now I can never make rifts again and instead make really cool maps like the next 5 on this list. On number 5 we have Hotel Skybound by Heavy. This is a map that is a chapter map, and it does feature an open area to walk around in and a little bit of a hotel on the side. Now, I almost didn't want to put this map on number 5 because it does have a bunch of issues, but, and this is something that I value more than the overall actual quality. I mean, I make it sound a bit weird, but something that I do at least value quite a bit is when people at least try really hard to make something, to like take an idea that they have and put that idea on the screen, into the level, and create something out of that. In this case, we do have multiple different acts. We have some time rifts. Some of the time rifts are really cool. I like in the purple time rift, for example, you can look down and see earlier stages of the purple rift. That's pretty cool. I like one of the acts where you go around. It's basically like what is it? Murder on the Owl Express, where you have to gather evidence, and I like that there's a bit where you have to do something with some mask that I think has not been done before, at least like this before. So that was really cool. What's really holding this map back is I'm gonna have to be honest, and I'm being honest, not to like shit on people, but to spur people to make even more awesome stuff, and it has to be said, because if I just pat people on the back and go like, good work, even though it could have been way better, and people aren't going to learn. So in this case, what did I not like about Skybound? Why is there only one area to explore, and in pretty much every single act of this map that you play, you just run around the area? That's it. This stage didn't even need 5 acts or 6 acts. It could have just had 1 act where you just run around this area and collect different items. That's it, because that's what you do in all the other acts. You just run around and collect some items or press some buttons. That's pretty much all that happens in any of the acts. Only the Vanessa act is different, and that one was alright, I guess. Apart from that, the dialogue, sadly, I mean, usually I don't bring this up as a main point. Usually I bring this up as a side point that doesn't really impact the rest of what I have to say about the stage. But in this case, I do have to actually say that some of the dialogue was quite cringy, and it did take me out of the experience quite a bit. So when you have when you're not very good at writing dialogue, just make dialogue that's serviceable, that doesn't really contrast the game or your experience too much. But if I like read some dialogue and I'm like, what? Then it does take me out. So sorry that I had to riff on this map for so long. The other 4 maps are going to be very quick. But I feel like this is important because these are maps that are made by people that have passion, that do want to make something, that have ideas in their head they want to bring to a level. And I want to make sure that those ideas get made into amazing levels and don't just sputter dead on the side of the road somewhere because they weren't being handled properly. So much for that. Yeah, that's about it. Next up we have Blizzard Wonderland by Dinkelberg, which is a map, well, you can see it, you go through some icy village or icy town, and your goal is to collect a bunch of these tickets to, well, get the timepiece, of course. What I like about this map is the fact that, for one, visually it's quite impressive. There's a lot of stuff going on. There's always, you can't really walk in a straight line for too long without something catching your eye, something being there, which is really good. I think the size of this level is absolutely perfect. This is probably one of the levels that I'm going to be pointing to if some people say, well, what's the optimal size for a level? It's that, and it's even quite short. You can get from one side of the stage to the other side in maybe like 20 to 30 seconds. But it's still perfect. It's still the perfect size. I also like the fact that you have all these different buildings that you can go into, and almost all the different buildings have something amazing in them. They have something special in them. Maybe from the outside they could be a little bit more distinct, so you can tell at a glance what's in the buildings. Because there's a lot of buildings packed around the main square where I wasn't ever really sure what's going to be going inside until I went in. But apart from that, really solid level, really like that. And also double shout out to Dinkelberg for giving me 2 buckets. I used those buckets in my stream and it was pretty good. That was pretty good. Next up we have Moose Ninja Training by Wurty100, which, side note, requires the Playable Mustache Girl mod by Ogleboggle. This is basically a map, like a training map, to teach you how to use Playable Mustache Girl by having an obstacle course, basically, of a lot of different obstacles that you can traverse, or that you have to traverse with the Playable Mustache Girl's repertoire. Like, you can also do with Fat Kid, but if you have the Mustache Girl, which you should, this is a Mustache Girl map, you pretty much have to use all the different things that Mustache Girl has to offer in order to overcome this map. And I really like the way that he did showcase all the different abilities and also first taught you something and then of course build upon it. That's the basics on how to do level design. You introduce something, you build upon it. Nice. The reason why this is so hype is because it's such a solid map. There's not really anything here that I can give big faults to. The only thing that I could maybe say is maybe some of the areas between the different like buildings are maybe a little bit too long and too large, where you walk in a straight line for like 5 seconds at a time sometimes. But that's pretty much the only thing I can say. I really love this map. I really like the way he used Mustache Girl's moves in this entire map. So yeah, that was that. Though I have to say that this and I would say this one and Blizzard Wonderland are maybe somewhere around tied with each other. Oh, except I didn't mention about Blizzard Wonderland. Why is the music Train Rush? I mean, I guess it's a cool music, but it doesn't really fit with the level at all. Anyway, next up we have New Hat City by Sheriff Boyardee. Why is this surprising? Well, because this is maybe the hottest map on Steam Workshop right now, but then again, every map that references some other game is the hottest map on Steam Workshop, kind of like that one Isle Delfino map, even though that one wasn't very good, sadly. But anyway, New Hat City. This one it references another game, but it's actually really fucking good. Like, this map is really fucking good. I would say that this map is maybe one of the top 5 of all time, maybe custom maps for Hat in Time. And even though in the last 2 months there haven't been that many maps, like the other 3 maps on this list below, they weren't all super amazing. This map is, and it still wasn't number 1. Oh, no. But before we get to number 1, this map. So this is basically a New Hat City from the popular game Hat in Odyssey, where you just have this giant city you can run around in. You go to all the different rooftops, you jump around the rooftops, you do some time challenges. There's so much to explore, so much to do. It's visually, it's super impressive. Gameplay wise, there's so much going on in every corner. This map is absolutely amazing, actually. The one thing that I have to say about this map is, for one, maybe there could have been more different types of areas in the city itself, but I mean, that's something where you have to say, like, okay, I want to have, I have this like Hat in Time idea, and I have the New Donk City idea, and you look into the whole, and then you say, basically, we have to, I mean, this is just something personal. I mean, this doesn't make the map any worse in any aspect. It's just something personal, where if I had the map, what I would do is I would also like introduce some of the more Hat in Timey aspects, like even more into this stage. And maybe have a little area that is a nod to the Subcon area. Like, not actually just put Subcon Forest there, but have maybe something like a dweller part of the town where you have the cherries, for example, and explodey stuff, and more of the dweller mask stuff. Just have an area that is distinct in gameplay and visual from the rest of the areas. I mean, I know there's areas on the side where you go off and do the time piece stuff. And another thing is also that maybe some of the timepieces aren't, it's not really that easy to see sometimes where you could go for a timepiece. Maybe there was some point somewhere where it gave you a hint on what at least the names for the timepieces were, but I didn't find it, sadly. Like, just giving the name of the timepiece would have maybe helped a lot in finding where the timepiece is. Maybe there is something like that in the map. I didn't find it. Maybe I was just blind. Happens sometimes. So yeah, what could be better than New Hat City? An absolutely amazing map like this. Well, to find that we have to... It is The Breathing Sea by Wurty100. A map that is visually impressive, that has a lot of varied gameplay, but unlike New Hat City also has many different, also visually impressive areas that are also distinct in their gameplay. And that's just the cherry on top. What you also have is you have this entire new movement system around the water jump, which you can also tech and get upgrades for by getting specific items you can trade in for upgrades that also look amazing. You have all these, like I said, you have all these different areas that all in themselves could have been an entire map themselves and still have been a big map. Like the ice area I'm showing you basically that I'm gonna go to is just one of the areas. In this game has like 5 areas that are as big as that one, and that area alone, if that area alone was just its own map, it would be bigger than most other Hat in Time maps, and that's just one of the 5 big areas that are all interlinked, or I don't know if it's 5, like 4 big areas, was I? They're all interlinked on a giant hub around this giant ocean that you can water skip on by doing some cool tech. I don't know, I love this map. I love how this map sets out to do something amazing and then does it. And then just does it. Comes along and just does it. What an absolutely amazing map. But then, but like I said, the New Hat City is also absolutely amazing. I wouldn't say that Breathing Head Sea is objectively better, but to someone like me, I enjoy Breathing Sea more, but I can see how the community would be split between the two maps. So don't take this as like an objectively, this is definitely better than the other map, but rather like I said, one of the tiebreaker is always my personal opinion. In this case, it's the Breathing Sea because of how amazingly it uses all the different cool aspects it introduced. So yeah, that was that. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Next one maybe in 2 months again, because it seems like there's not that many new maps coming out. There have been so many rifts. There have been like 20 rifts in these last 2 months, and like 18 of those were my first new rift or something. I didn't count them, but it was a lot. So maybe we're gonna have something again for the next 2 months or something. I'm sorry, but that's probably what it's gonna be. So that's how you guys enjoyed it. See you guys next time.